And we're live again, the Matt and Sixto.
It's not what it's called.
The Matt and Sixto show.
It's not what it's called at all.
Two friends in a movie.
Yeah, with Sixto and Matt.
With Matt and Sixto. That's the way it's got to be. Welcome, as we crinkle paper, to a special edition to the Two Friends in a Movie.
I think you're overmodulated.
I think you're overmodulated.
There you go.
We got a new mixing board and some new microphones.
Yes, son.
We've updated our equipment here, so we're still learning how to use it.
Yeah, bitch.
But anything that's wrong here can be fixed in post.
They look sexy. These two microphones look like two big black dicks.
But they're silver.
Yeah, man, it's been a while.
It's been a minute.
I'm glad to sit down and see your face. Well, that's the least of my favorite things.
It was his one and only Christmas present.
Yeah.
His wish was to see my face again.
Santa, can I see please?
So I said, no, not on Christmas, but maybe the day after.
Yeah, kind of like that. It's kind of how it went.
So here we are, a new episode with a special edition where we feel...
Year ender, man.
We feel that our taste is superior to most, and that you guys would want to hear what we feel are the top 10 all-time movies. But when we say top 10, we really mean top 20, because I have 10 and Sixto has 10, so this is going to be a two-parter.
Well, also, year ender looking at, by the way, the hardest thing I had to do because it became top 10 movies for me, right?
For you.
It's not necessarily like top 10 movies ever made because there's
Nope.
like Citizen Kane and bullshit like that.
That's bullshit.
Although I like that movie, but it's not about that. It's about our favorites for all time, I think, which was a top ass list.
Yeah, we got two lists. We also got some bonus stuff for the end of each show. This is like a Saved by the Bell episode where Jesse took the pills. It's going to be a two-parter.
Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned and get to the edge of your seats, because that's the only part you're going to need.
Before we start with the cool, let's start with the sad.
Start with the sad.
Yeah, I wanted to say really quickly, we lost a really good friend of ours.
A colleague.
A colleague, because Matt and I work together. And a good friend, Mary Lily. And we missed her very much, and I wanted to, and I think we both wanted to dedicate the show to her, because we're going to miss her a ton. And she was a big supporter of anything stupid that I did.
Yep, whatever we did, as long as it was positive and we were trying to do something, she was behind. She might have yelled at us because of how stupid I was, but she's definitely was a listener, so we're down to 2 again.
Right. So, miss you, Mary. We love you, and we know you're in a better place. And on with the movie list. Who's going to start?
When you go start, since we have 2 experts here, and I know my list will be far superior than his. We'll start with his.
We start. So we're doing 10 to numbers from number 10 to number 6. Right?
Number 10 to 6. And just a little background. I feel that after looking over Sixto's list, who didn't get to look over my list, that our tastes are different, and you will see it in these next few lists.
Well, I know that our tastes are different in that I fucking love Star Wars because it's a good movie, and we talk a lot of shit about it. So, I already know.
So, on with the list.
So,
number 10,
Number
Sixto.
10 for me is a movie from 1990.
I didn't get dates on mine. I didn't know we had to do that.
Me neither. I'm trying to guess because I'm not remember where I was, who I was fucking when this movie came out.
I can IMDb it.
And IMDb it or IMDb it? Either one would work.
You just say the movie and I'll do the research.
It's a movie cool enough that it was kind of a remake of Gunshot at the OK Corral.
The Gunshot at the OK Corral.
And it became kind of the same blood of movie but modernized. It's called Tombstone.
Tombstone.
By the way, also spawned the movie Wyatt Earp.
That's 93, by the way. 93 was Tombstone.
Yeah, I thought it was 92. And I fucking love this movie.
Tell us why. Give us a brief synopsis.
Yeah,
why
this
you love
is a
it so
movie
much.
about obviously the true story of the happenings at Tombstone when Wyatt Earp and his brothers and John Henry Holiday had a fight with the other assholes from the Cowboys.
You're doing a great job with this.
Yeah, the Cowboys are all assholes in football, in everything. They're just assholes. And and it's pretty much the lead up from when Herb moved to Tombstone to the fight, to the deaths that happened to his family members and the other people's family members, to the reckoning that came afterwards.
The Reckoning.
The Reckoning. And Hell's Coming With Me. It's a great fucking movie. Has great lines, superb acting from Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday.
An epic tale.
Epic tale, which is based on a true story. You can get more epic than that.
You can't.
And it's an awesome movie. Have you seen it?
I have seen it, not in a very long time, but I've seen it a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
didn't it make your testosterone grow just by looking at it?
I guess so.
It did. I'm telling you, it did.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit.
What's your number 10, Matt?
Number 10. Now, I had struggled on which numbers should go where because the list is just, it's very sporadic.
I think so. But also, don't you think top 10, only like the top 3 are the most important because you love the most? And everything below is kind of like, well, these are top 5, but kind of like mixed.
Yeah.
And these are the bottom 5 and maybe kind of mixed. I don't think this is so organized like that.
Yeah. I have mostly comedies and silly movies on my list because that's just what I enjoy the most. But my first movie, number 10, is neither. I picked Remember the Titans.
Huh.
I think the only Disney movie that I have anywhere near my top 10. Denzel Washington was the star of it. It was the tale of also a true story, when the blacks and whites got segregated in a school and they had to play football together to overcome all the racism and all the stuff that some players went with the program and some people didn't want it, and parents didn't like some of the black kids, and some of the black kids got threats and some of the white kids thought they were better than them. So it was a lot of growing and learning how to put the two races together back when this stuff was happening. So it's a nice part of American history that you get to see, in film form, and it takes the giant scale of racism and knocks it down to this one little school to basically represent the entire country, what was going on at that time. It's an emotional movie. There's some people die in it. Some people are, heroes. Some are villains. But I think all in all, it was a really good movie, and it kept your attention the entire time. And every time I see it on TV, I always stop and watch it. So that's how it made the list.
Once again, my number 10 is better than your number 10, so I'm winning.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think you were like,
no.
That's what it is, because I have to put this epic movie where I'm just more deep than you.
Yeah, sure.
I'm deep.
I'm just saying Tombstone is
Deep.
badass.
Deep. All right. Moving right on to the list, number 9.
Coming in at number 9.
At Sixto's fantastic list.
It's a comedy. Speaking of comedies, that
we were speaking of that.
that I think anybody and everybody that has seen it loves it.
Loves it.
Yeah, and it's Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
Mel Brooks.
Spaceballs.
A lot of people say his last good movie. A lot of people say, I don't think that's true. I love that movie. I love science fiction a lot, and to see it in comedy form, yeah, and to see Star Wars and a comedy of Star Wars that actually works on its own.
It was one of the first true parodies too, the first blockbuster parody of a movie.
And what a great fucking! I mean, come on, everybody. My cell phone is called Mr. Cell because of Spaceballs, and everything that I own that is electronic is called Mr. Something because of Spaceballs. So you obviously had a mark in my life. It's a great movie, but I can go a couple of years without watching it. I mean, that's not true, but it's true. But every time I see it, it doesn't matter what part it's on.
And it's so quotable.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a million quotes that come from, and everybody knows it. It's one of those movies where if the opportunity arises and you can quote the movie, everybody knows what you're talking about.
Absolutely. Love that movie, by the way. I mean, against the popularity too, I love the science fiction aspect of it. And I love the
aspect.
More ass than pet, but I still love it.
He loves it.
Yeah, what's that? Your number 9?
That we're flying right through this list.
We should slow down. Maybe we should talk about it a little more.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a little bit about Spaceballs. In '86, when this movie came out, I'm not kidding. I don't know when it came out.
Yeah. We have to find a movie we disagree with because so far it's been pretty even. We both love Spaceballs.
But
You can't really argue with Tombstone.
do you really have to disagree though? I mean, you could agree with me because I'm always right, and then we save ourselves the trouble of having like a 2-hour
But
podcast.
what are we going to talk about if we both agree? Like, I love it. Like, yeah, I love it too.
Yeah, exactly. How much you love Star Wars Episode 7, how much you like Spaceballs.
I do not like Star Wars Episode 7.
Well, anyways, I digress.
He's digressing.
The point about Spaceballs is not only did he make it really cool parody of a movie, the jokes in that movie are great jokes. One of my favorite gags ever in any movie is when, any movie ever, is when they're coming after them, trying to shoot them, and then they finally catch them, and they all turn around, and it's all of the stunt doubles. It's a guy with like a giant mustache.
That's a good one.
And it's a lot of it that that movie always makes me feel good.
It's very memorable. I do enjoy saying, "We ain't found shit" every chance I get.
It's one of those lines that everybody, there's people, my niece knows that line. She's never seen this fucking movie. It's just a great line.
Yeah, it's the whole movie. The whole movie is great lines.
Yeah.
So my number 9 is also a parody, which I struggled with because it's not really a great movie, but it's a movie that I love to watch and a movie that I quote often and whenever I can, is Austin Powers.
Oh. International Man of Mystery.
The whole series is great, but I'm going to focus on the first one because that's what started the whole thing, but I think the whole series is great. I know when the first came out, it was like a real bomb, and no one watched it. It didn't really become popular until it went on DVD, which is not a thing anymore, but back then it was a thing. And it blew up, and Austin Powers, I mean, talk about quotes, I can quote Austin Powers to the cows come home. And it had surprises in it, like you didn't think like Austin Powers was going to be, like Myers was going to be Austin Powers and Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
And the silliness of the entire thing is just, like, it comes to the point where it's so silly where it starts to become like sort of believable. Like of course that character would do that. So I always loved Austin Powers.
All the surrounding characters too are so great. Froud is perfect. Jeff Green as
Seth Green.
Sorry,
as his son. And
hilarious.
Will Ferrell's in it as the Mustafa. Even though they had the girls in it, the Bond girls.
Yeah. But every one of those movies, but you're right, the first one, I used to work at a comic book shop when the movie came out, and my boss was this Russian dude that, like you didn't think that even, like, I don't know, I never thought that he even went to the movies. That guy was like really a businessman kind of thing, which is kind of weird working in a comic book shop. But every time we used to go to the bathroom and come back out, we used to go back in the back alley, go to the bathroom, and come all the way back. Every time I went, it didn't matter how long I was because I didn't poop.
He takes time.
I only poop at home. And
interesting.
And he'd come out and be like, "Damn it, boy, what did you eat?" When he goes to the bathroom and puts the Lucky Charms guys in the toilet. So like it's also super massively quotable movie. It's also great, funny. Lots of fun movie.
Yeah, and it doesn't just, the whole thing flows. It's never like a real down part, and every time, like, you can go through the whole movie and find a really good spot. And like when he's and the only problem with, I think, Austin Powers is that the 3 movies seem to like blend together.
Yeah.
So you never know, like when you think back of it, like what part was in what movie.
Yeah, I only think that what marks a big difference is Mini-Me, and I know Mini-Me's in the second one for the first time. So until Mini-Me comes up, I know, like, if I remember a joke, if Mini-Me is not part of the plot that follows that joke, I'm like, oh, wait, no.
And Mini-Me, what a great character Mini-Me was. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like it was really genius, like, how silly it is. It's the whole concept was really good, and it was one of the few parodies that really evolved to, like, blockbusters.
Absolutely. And I also feel that, like the original Casino Royale, which was actually a comedy, it's the first Bond movie ever made, too. It's a comedy with, what's his name?
I don't know who was in it. A long time ago.
The Jewish guy that makes all the comedies, too. Mm-hmm. He's super famous.
I don't know.
Help me out.
I don't know who you're talking about.
New York guy?
Woody Allen?
Woody Allen was in it. And he actually, I don't know if he got the rights for something like that, but that movie was meant to be a parody of James Bond. I think Austin Powers was just a comedy that happened to have spy shit in it.
Yeah, it was actually written as a comedy.
Right. So, I mean, even though there's things like very James Bondish in it, it's not necessarily, I mean, I guess I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's a parody. It's a
Sorry.
James Bond parody.
Sorry, I'm wrong.
He went off on a tangent there that didn't really make any sense. But we're
Right.
back. We're back.
We're back.
Back on track.
All right,
And
let's
speaking
talk
of back on track, let's go to Sixto for number 8.
my number 8 is a movie that a lot of people, I don't think, have ever seen. But it's a movie that got a really bad rep because of the movie that was its predecessor, and it's the movie Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown!
From Mr. Tarantino. And goddamn, do I love that movie, dude.
Really? Jackie Brown makes your top 10 all time?
Jackie Brown makes my top 10 all time.
I don't think I've ever seen Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown, well, see, because you ain't got no good taste, brother.
I don't think I know that one. I know of it, but I don't think I've seen it.
Jackie Brown, basically.
Jackie Brown.
It's a movie about people that have made bad choices through their lives, and now they're at the end of their ropes.
So that's why you like it.
They really at a point in their lives where they got to figure out what the big score is going to be before it's too late to keep working, or they're tired of being a fucking worker and they want to have a life that if you would have done every right step, you really would have had not to worry about it, but you would have had a pension or something like that. And these people are really criminals looking at their retirement and trying to figure out how to do it right. It is amazing. And the book that it's based on, which I have never read, is also amazing and I never read it. No, I'm kidding. But it's also an amazing book. But this movie is really, when that movie came out, I remember Tarantino having a whole interview where he was talking about, this is a movie I would have made when I'm 50 or 60. And people are waiting for you to do it when you're at the end of your rope, because it's a very strong expression of that. But instead, he made it as his second movie, and it was
Jackie Brown.
Incredible. Well, it was his third movie, actually. I'm sorry, because he had the Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir.
And then
Reservoir Dogs.
And I think he suffered from people thinking that he should have been Pulp Fiction Part 2. And
it did star Samuel L. Jackson.
It did star. It was a Tarantino movie. They just wanted the same kind of brand of movie, and they got a movie that's actually deep and less action driven, and I don't know. I felt that it's in my top 10 for a reason.
Top 10 for a reason. Jackie Brown. Now we got a surprising pick here out of Sixto Sensationals picks. Jackie Brown.
Where are you at with your number?
Number 8 on my list. I have a Tarantino movie on it, but it's not number 8, so we'll go back to that later. Number 8 to me is a cult classic that we just taught Sixto on our last episode what that means.
Well, you don't chop your head off.
We're not taking Kool-Aid and dying because of the movie.
Okay.
We're all just gonna get together and talk about it. A small group of people. I think it's the only movie on my list that came out in the 80s. Oh no, there's a couple. UHF, which is a very unknown movie from way back when. It stars the great and talented Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah, man.
It has Michael Richards in it.
Yeah.
It has a lot of stars that came stars later. Not giant stars, but I think Fran Drescher was in it.
Yeah.
A couple other people were in it.
Oh shit! I'm trying to remember faces in it now,
but that blonde girl that was in a bunch of movies back then was in it. The older guy, I forget his name as well. But UHF is a movie. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. UHF. A lot of people don't know. Even when I was a kid, I didn't really understand what UHF meant. But back in the day, apparently there was VHS and UHF were two ways to watch television. Yeah, and Weird Al inherited a UHF station. It's like a public access station, so to speak. And he put all these crazy shows on that was from his imagination. Like he had Conan the Librarian, and he had Name That Fish and What's in the Box, and there was just a lot of silliness and a lot of out of the box, over the wall type of humor, where Michael Richards is a janitor who has this charisma where he attracts fans and he gets fired from the big network down the block and works for Weird Al, and they're a hit, and then they're stealing ratings from the big network down the block, and they try to shut them down. This whole big thing. But it's a great, great comedy. It makes fun of a lot of 80s comedies. So if you watch any 80 movies, this really pokes fun at most of them. He does a Rainbow skit, he does a Conan skit, he does a Karate Kid skit. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on. It's a cult movie. Didn't really, make any box office bang, but to me, it's one of the best movies.
And he created. I think he created kind of like a spirit of making movies. I know that I talked about like a movie like Clerks before that.
Yeah.
Kind of created this kind
It's very
of air.
Clerks.
Yeah, like a kind of air of how to make movies. I think this movie really made a big. I don't know. It made an impression on people that made him want to do movies kind of the same way in a sense.
And I feel like it was one of the first low budget movies.
Yeah, right.
That became something.
Absolutely.
I
mean, not Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which cost like $1,
Mhm.
but it was up there with it.
Yeah, it was pretty low budgeted, and Weird Al wasn't really known for much besides fat and eat it. So it made him more of a star where he was doing television and movies.
Right.
And I'm a big Weird Al fan. I think what he does is amazing work.
Amazing.
And I still listen to him to this day.
Well, everybody listens to Weird Al, but amazing.
Amazing. He's the only guy who can do it. He takes a simple thing where he just changes the words to popular songs, and he still sells out arenas, and no one else does it. I don't know how he gets away with it, and he's the only one who could do it. And he doesn't really. He's not the lyrics he's changing it to aren't these. He just rhymes a different word.
Yeah, right. Beating instead of beating.
Yeah, he's not doing anything that's intellectually amazing, but.
I mean, and everybody kind of does that, no? Didn't you do that as a kid?
Yeah, I did it as a kid, and I was like, but Weird Al's making money off it. It's fucked up. Fuck you, Weird Al. Now I'm all upset. I could have been living the life. I could have been living the life.
If it wasn't for Weird Al, you would have been the first guy to do it?
I should have followed in his footsteps. I guess I should be hating myself.
Well.
Sorry, Weird Al. I should have did more.
Plus, fuck you. Weird Al is amazing and super fun.
Yeah, but we're not Weird Al.
Oh.
Now I'm all depressed. All right, go on with your list while I sit here and sulk.
Well, the next movie on my list.
Number 7? We up to number 7?
We're at number 7.
For those keeping track at home.
It's a movie that I actually tend to not admit that I love because it's kind of weird that I love it. But it's A Nightmare Before Christmas.
A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Now, it's a weird fucking movie.
It is out there.
And I don't think that movie, even though I saw it and I was in my early teenage years, I think that's really who that movie is meant for. I don't think it's meant for little kids.
It's made for Sixto in his early teenage years?
I think so, and my sister, who loves it too. It's our favorite movie together, man. We go to the movies every year and we watch it.
Is she older or younger than you?
She's exactly a year older than me. I was born on her first birthday.
She's 5'2"?
No, she's not 5'2". She's older.
That was a bad joke. Well, she's older, so she was the first one. She's 5'2", and then you're 6'2".
Whatever.
And then, if you had a younger brother, he'd be 7'2".
Stop. A Nightmare Before Christmas, number 1, even though I grew up always watching stop animation and being really in love with that art of it, the certain look of it, like when I watched Clash of the Titans and stuff like that as a kid, I felt like, oh man, that shit looks cool.
Oh man.
Or even Star Wars, when you saw the stop animation stuff, it just looked cool, but it just, there's a certain thing about it that just looks like stop animation, it has a feel, because obviously it's what it is.
It is. It is.
This movie is so smooth and so incredible that you kind of can't believe that it's stop animation half the time. In '93, when the movie came out, I just feel that it had such an impact on how it was. This one, yeah, such an impact on everyone that saw it. I think that it had a very good. It created a very good following for it, and I think it's an amazing movie. The music is amazing. It's just creepy to like it because it's
creepy.
It's like a Beetlejuice thing. I don't know, and there's so many. I find I don't know because if it was because I was a teenager, and I was hitting my sexuality in some sense. That
So this movie came out in 1970.
no, it came out in '93. It had a
That's an old person joke.
such sexual undertones. I think between Jack and Sally. I don't know, man. And the fact that she was like break apart and saw herself together. There's just something creepily sexy about. I think I should stop talking.
And we're learning something new about Sixto.
It's just I don't know, man. I'm not saying that I jerk off to it. All I'm saying is that
He likes to be punished
no
and sewn back together.
no. But there's something about it that is it's just creepily sexy and creepily interesting about every character in it.
It was before the internet, so this is before
Yeah, right.
free
So
porn.
that you didn't really have. I had to use comic books.
He had to use what you can use.
Pictures, yeah.
His imagination.
Yeah, man, and I feel that it's
Eats.
in-
I'm sorry.
it's
That just came out.
it's I don't know, man. It's just it's such a joy to watch, and I always watch it all of the time.
And he always has a giant smile because of the pure joy he's feeling at that moment.
Yeah, yeah.
It's joyous.
It's joyous.
Oh, whatever it is.
Anyways, moving on.
Sorry. I guess I'm being too mean to Sixto.
Whatever.
Number 7 on Matt's magnificent movie madness is. Yeah, I should have numbered these because they're all pretty good. But I think for number 7, since we're coming off 2 comedies, we're gonna go a little more serious. And we're gonna go to it was a documentary. It's the only documentary on my list. The Howard Stern documentary, Private Parts.
That's a movie, dude.
It's a movie, but it's a documentary. It's a autobiopic.
Autobiography. It's not a fucking documentary. He didn't take a camera and walk around
No, but it's
following people. He had a. The first
it's a
thing,
dramatization of his.
The first thing in that
his
movie
life.
has a chick's tits growing beyond her head until they explode.
Yeah.
I don't think that really happened.
Okay, I guess it's, but it's not a movie because it's I don't know. It's based on a true story.
Well, I guess, but so was fucking Tombstone. But
I guess it's a biopic. I guess that's the best way to call it, a biopic.
All right.
Anyway, but it was done by him, so it's an autobiopic. I don't know. Anyway, it was it's
Just laughing out at the fact that it's a documentary.
It's kind of like a documentary.
All you had is pig bombing. Just fucking running a radio station. All your money has never worked a radio station.
He hasn't. It's a dramatization of a. It's based on his
Experiences. Yeah.
his autobiography.
Mhm.
Anyways, moving past the terminology and into the movie.
Yes.
It's Howard Stern's story. I'm sure if you're listening to this, you know who Howard Stern is. It's his story from how he came up as a little kid with his the way his family was, to where he lived, to his rough start as a radio host, and went from town to town until he was finally famous and found a niche. To me, it was just a very inspiring story of a boy who wasn't meant to do anything special, who wouldn't take pretty much no for an answer, and did what he wanted to do. And every step of the way, he was told, no, 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 don't do it. And he just kept going, and now he has more money than anyone can count. I like to call it extra money. He has extra money because he has more money than he can use.
Well, I will say that I love that movie. I don't know that it's top 10 material, but it was at a point where Howard Stern was still on public radio where you could hear him and laugh your ass off listening to Howard Stern or watching his TV show on Channel 55 in New York.
I just think it was the story of what he had to overcome and to see
And
how he got. Well, because I
did.
didn't know him as a kid, obviously, because he did this stuff when I was way too young to listen to Howard Stern. So I only knew Howard Stern as a famous radio DJ. So to learn the backstory of my mother and father were big Howard Stern fans, so I grew up listening to him, not knowing exactly, how it is. And for someone in a similar spot where I wasn't always told that you could be this great thing to kind of, not that this is my dream job, but to kind of follow and work hard and do what you got to do to get where you want to go. It's a feel good, inspiring story, and I was trying to diversify my list a bit because if it was just my top 10 movies ever, it probably just would have been 10 comedies.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Only I will judge you.
But I wanted a little
That's a fucking comedy.
Diversify my bonds.
No, man.
But it's a movie when it's on. I always like watching, so that's kind of how I base my list on. If I see it on regular TV or on movie channel, I'd stop and watch it. And if I would pass through it, then it didn't make the list. But if I would stop and watch it, it made the list.
Yeah.
So the Howard Stern biopic documentary based on true events have made my top 10 list, and that's my number 7. And rounding out the top 5 for Sixto is his number 6 pick, which is
it's a movie about two angels.
Two angels, me and Sixto.
Well, yeah, prettier.
It's our documentary starring Paul Giamatti.
He's prettier angels than us. Being that it's Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
That have been casted into Earth for misbehaving and attacking God when Lucifer had his big fight against God. And it's a movie that looks at Catholic religion and looks at all of the hypocrisy. Is that a word, hypocrisy?
Hypocrisy.
Yeah, it is.
It's a hypocrisy.
That the Catholic Church really thrives on and really makes you want to feel like, oh man, because Jesus Christ was a white man, because the Romans painted him like so in the great Renaissance, but not a Jewish man from fucking Iraq. But I digress.
He's digressing.
The movie that I'm talking about is Dogma.
Dogma, Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith's Dogma is a movie that I absolutely love. And even though it's probably not his best movie by a long shot.
A long shot.
Or maybe not a long shot, but some shot,
Yeah, it's a shot away. The distance is unknown.
Yeah, right. I fucking love this movie, dude. Everything about it, from the moment he starts going with the kids beating their old man, I start laughing, dude. And the fact that right before the movie, he has this whole spiel about, like, God has a sense of humor. If not, look at a platypus. And it's like, well, if I offended any platypus fanatics out there, I'm sorry. Just look at the movie and enjoy it. It's a great movie, dude. And there is no time that I have seen that movie that it hasn't put me in a good mood and I haven't laughed my ass off. Not once.
It's well written. It's well cast.
Oh man, Chris Rock is fucking perfect.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing Chris Rock does. So
no, yes.
What has Chris Rock done that's bad?
What? Well, let's see. What was that movie? Fuck, I can't.
You can't name. See, he's
top 5. That movie was shit.
Top 5 was not bad. It got a lot more hype than it should have got, but it wasn't a bad movie.
It's shit.
And he doesn't know what he's talking about.
But
we're digressing again.
I'm not digressing.
Yo,
fuck Chris Rock.
Stop digressing with your hypocrisy.
But I think Dogma, really talking about hypocrisy, really points a finger at, I believe, at me as a Catholic raised kid, and said, not everything has to be as fucking square as people teach you. There are things that can be outside of the box, and you can use your own fucking brain and
a gray zone.
Shit. And also you can figure shit out.
Your own interpretations of things.
Exactly. And then if you really think Jesus Christ was a white dude with blonde hair or whatever the fuck they pin as in every fucking church in the world, you're stupid.
Do you know what I think Jesus Christ is?
No.
Alanis Morissette.
No, that's God.
Oh, damn it.
But
not to me.
To take a guy.
You said I can have it whatever I want to, and then you just automatically shoot me down.
No, I didn't. But she plays God in the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Whatever.
to take things like that and put them in perspective for you, where you can say, listen, there are truths and there are things the way people teach you shit, and just take the truth and run with it.
Run.
I think that movie taught me a lot, and I absolutely laughed my ass off. Alan Rickman is massively perfect. As a matter of fact, I wrote Kevin Smith a note once about a Dogma sequel.
You said, I love you.
I said that, but I also said
I'll do anything for you.
that. I didn't say that.
And he underlined anything a few times.
But I did write in my note thinking like, hey man, I have this idea for a sequel to Dogma, where Bethany's daughter is the last scion, because she wasn't supposed to be the last scion, Bethany, and then she had a daughter in the end of the movie, and now she really is the last daughter. And it's a movie where God is coming to, not God, Satan is coming to kill her.
Also played by Alanis Morissette.
Also plays by, but it would have been so much fun to have like that kind. I don't know. I'm not saying it would have been fun because I think it would have been fun. It's not saying that it really would have been fun. But if he would have written it with the same gusto that he wrote that Dogma, and the movie would have been called The Last Scion. But then Alan Rickman died, and I kind of felt like, no, this sucks. You can have Dogma.
You can't have Dogma without him.
Alan Rickman. It sucks.
It sucks.
Yeah, man. There it is.
There it is. That's Sixto's list. Why don't you go over your top 10, your top 10, or your top 5 so far?
What's your number 6?
Oh yeah, my number 6. My number 6 is going to end with a comedy, which is also an underrated comedy that was one of my favorite movies ever.
Well, does it make the list?
It made the list at number 6. And I actually think it should be higher, but the way I trying to organize my list, this one's going to come in at number 6. It is Grandma's Boy. Grandma's Boy is one of the funniest movies ever.
I'm not judging you by it because I've never seen it. It's because between you and Joe and my nephew, you won't leave me the fuck alone to watch this movie.
It's one of the funniest movies ever.
I still haven't seen it.
I remember it came out I want to say close to 15 years ago now.
Yeah,
I saw it on opening night. I got really drunk in the parking lot, and we walked in, and it was me and the girl I was dating, and 2 other couples in the entire theater for a Friday movie at 9 o'clock on opening night.
10 years old, wasn't it?
So you knew at that point this was going to be a great movie. It's got one of my favorite comedians ever, Nick Swartzen, who writes all the funny things you see that is done by Adam Sandler is written by Nick Swartzen.
Yeah. Great.
It also has Jonah Hill before Jonah Hill was a superstar. Jonah Hill literally sucks on a fake tit for an hour of this movie. 1 hour of this movie. It's just him on the couch sucking on a fake tit from some stripper who came to the party. But it's about a guy who works at a video game testing place, and he lived with a roommate who had a gambling and stripper addiction, and he was paying him. He was giving his rent money to his roommate who was supposed to be paying the landlord, but he was spending all the money on strippers and gambling. So they got evicted from their house, and he had no money, so he had to go move in with his grandma, hence the name Grandma's Boy. And then his grandma, there's a big party, and his grandma finds his weed, but doesn't know it's weed, and puts it in tea, so his grandma's all stoned, and all the old ladies at the house are all stoned, and kooky events happen afterwards. Yeah, and there's an evil guy who's trying to steal his video game, and he has to fight for his video game. That's the story behind the story in the movie. But the entire movie is hilarious. I would quote it more often if more people have seen it and would understand what I was saying. But if you ask my wife or my friends, they would tell you that I would quote this movie all day. If you haven't seen it, get on Hulu or Netflix. I'm sure it's in one of these places. Watch Grandma's Boy. It's only an hour and 40 minutes. If you happen to use some enhancements to find things funny, I would suggest using those before watching the movie because it would make it just that much better. It's a stoner movie. It's a classic if you judge movies like I judge them, and
Happily.
if you love if you liked Animal House, which is
I do.
most people enjoy Animal House, it's very similar to Animal House. It's a small conflict that the entire movie is based on, but it's really just about the giant party at the end of the movie.
Right.
So watch it. It's all of Adam Sandler's crew besides Adam Sandler. So all those,
Then it's good.
so all those people you see in all the Adam Sandler movies that are the back players and have all the minor roles, they're the stars of this movie. That's why this is the best Adam Sandler movie.
Did he direct it? Did he write it?
I don't think any part of it. I think Nick Swartzen did most of it. If you don't know Nick Swartzen, look up Nick Swartzen, find his
He's
stuff.
hilarious, dude.
You'll love everything he does, and I love him.
You want to send him a note?
I love Nick Swartzen.
Well, now that you have the microphone in your mouth, maybe you should tell him.
If Nick Swartzen is listening to this,
He's sucking on the microphone.
I will
Like if it
do
was your
anything.
cock. Yeah.
Anything.
Don't lick the microphone. It's disgusting.
Anything.
Well,
Why don't you just review? We'll do a halfway review of our top list so far. So why don't you go over what you did?
I started with a little Tombstone.
Tombstone.
Went to a little Spaceballs for a little comedy.
Spaceballs.
Which I love.
Watch out! Watch out!
I jumped to Jackie Brown for the
Jackie Brown.
most.
He jumped right to it. He didn't. He wouldn't sit.
No.
Once Jackie Brown came up, he jumped.
Yeah, I jumped on it. That's,
He didn't want me to steal that one.
well, then
So
I
he
went
jumped
to the
on it.
creepily weird Nightmare Before Christmas, only because I made it creepily.
He made it creepy, and I'm never gonna look at his girlfriend the same again.
Oh, come on.
I'm sorry, but once I find out what you're into, I'm gonna be like, oh, so that's what you're doing tonight, huh?
No.
I'm gonna come to your house and see needles and thread on the floor and be like, oh, someone had a wild
That's
night.
funny because she does have this.
I'm sure she does. You guys wouldn't be as happy as you were if there wasn't some needle and thread action going on.
Anyways, and
I need stitches, baby.
Yeah, I stop it. I ended up with Dogma,
Dogma.
Dogma,
Dogma.
which
How you say it in Long Island? We call it dogma.
is I don't know, one of my, well, it's almost top 5.
Almost
That's
top
why it's
5.
number 6.
On the cusp.
Yeah.
So my top 10 movies will be revealed next week, but my bottom 5, I started with Remember the Titans, which is a classic film about race, which always gets me right where it matters. Then I went to a comedy, and I went to Austin Powers, which is my one of my favorite parody comedy. I juggled between Austin Powers and Spaceballs. I didn't want to have 2 parodies, but I went with Austin Powers. Then I jumped to the cult classic UHF, which if you haven't seen, I beg you to go and find it and watch it. I'm sure it's somewhere.
I haven't seen that movie in 20 years. Dude.
Then I went to the documentary biopic based on actual events
Fiction movie.
that comes from the book, the Howard Stern documentary, Private Parts. And then I finished off with one of the greatest comedies that ever faced the earth, created by Nick Swartzen, Grandma's Boy.
Actually, was the guy that created all those spy movies and books? He writes all the books like Hunt for Red October and all that.
I know his name, I can't think of it, but so only if you had some kind of device where if you type this in, it would tell you the answer of it. Like, I don't know, it would probably have to have some silly name like
you phone
or Oogle, or I'm gonna Oogle it, or I'm gonna Tom Clancy.
Tom Clancy. Tom Clancy.
Okay, I just knew that. It came off the top of my head.
No, right.
Top of my head, right there.
Tom Clancy actually
makes video games.
loved Dogma too. I think he's dead.
Dogma?
Yeah.
I think he is dead.
Yeah, he loved Dogma. He had a whole conversation with Kevin Smith about how much he loved the movie, which is weird as fuck. But
He also loved Grandma's Boy.
he did not.
He had a whole conversation with Nick Swartzen about Grandma's Boy.
He never talked to me twice.
He did.
Don't be jealous.
I'm telling you, Tom Clancy was all about it. He wanted to star in it, and he was like, Tom Clancy, you ain't funny.
You know, it's very funny.
You ain't funny.
It's very funny. Joe, who is another one of our friends, he talked to me about Grandma's Boys because I was talking about don't mess with the Zohan.
Don't mess with the Zohan.
Which I actually love. It would have probably made. Well, it's probably.
If you love Zohan, you will go batshit
That's why
for Grandma's Boy.
But then there's too much pressure. Everybody's just telling me to do something, and I'm a little bit of a rebel. I don't like to do.
The only little problem about seeing Grandma's Boy for the first time, it's a little dated because it came out like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So technology and things were a little different. So the jokes they make, follow that a little bit. So it's a little dated from then till now. But either way, still hilarious.
How long have we been talking?
We're good. We're good on time.
But I want to know how long, so I know how long.
We've been talking for 45 minutes.
But that's great, dude. It's almost an hour.
It's fantastic. It's almost an hour. We like to keep our shows about an hour because
nobody wants to hear both our voices.
Through testing, nobody could stand our voices for more than an hour.
I don't think anybody can stand my voice for more than 10 minutes.
I can't.
That's why you have to cut in every so often.
Yeah, that's why my headphones on mute.
Well,
we have a special surprise.
Let's talk about
our special surprise
for our bottom fives, or I like to call them our power bottom fives.
Power bottom?
Yeah, man. Like the bottoms that really try really hard.
like honorable mentions, like movies that should have made the list but just missed it.
No, but I mean not at all.
And I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm saying we did our bottom part of our top 10.
We did.
But that's the power bottom because they're so strong. They're such good movies. It's like
they're not. They're weaker movies. They're movies that should have made top 5 but couldn't exactly get there. Like we're pretty good, but we're not the best.
We're not the best.
Like if you saw me in a video store next to one of the top 5, I would lose every time.
Anyways, but I think we should end talking about this year that's ending because this is our year ender.
This is the year ender, and since the year is ending, we should talk about the end of the year.
Right. Let's talk about
with our special surprise bonus movie selection, our favorite movie of 2016. And to announce his favorite movie, here he is, Sixto. What do you got there, Toe?
I actually saw a lot of fucking movies.
A lot.
And the one movie that I like the most, I can't tell you why.
But this is what we do here. We tell people why.
The Nice Guys.
The Nice Guys.
Yeah, man.
So The Nice Guys is better than both Star Wars. Better. Hear it here first. If you got one movie to say, see Nice Guys.
Well, it's not that it's not better.
It's better.
Star Wars. It's not. I just it was a very fresh cup of cold water on a hot day. It was very refreshing to see that movie.
Unlike Star Wars, which is the exact same cup of water you had 40 years ago.
That last Star Wars was not.
I haven't seen Rogue One yet.
Well, anyways, The Nice Guys was a very fun. It really felt like an 80s movies that should have been made in the 80s.
I think that was the point, right?
And I think that was the point, and whoever did it did a perfect fucking job at getting it done.
Do I dare call it nice?
It was it was very nice to see. And it was a fun movie, dude. I tell you. I loved it. I loved every second of it.
He loved it. I love it. All right. A movie that I also loved for 2016, and it wasn't exactly the best movie of 2016. It wasn't the most powerful movie of 2016. It was just the movie that I thought was the most fun. Since 2016 was such an awful year all around, that I wanted to pick a real fun movie. So I picked the animated movie from Seth Rogen, Sausage Party.
Sausage
Party.
I think you're talking about another movie because the one that came
And
out is
I
called Sausage Party.
and I pop my peas when I talk, which is not good for radio.
No.
But I'm working on popping my peas.
Okay.
But Sausage Party, it was the most ridiculous, off the wall movie of the entire year. The previews do not do it justice because a lot of things they do they cannot show in a preview. It was extremely R rated, extremely crude and insensitive, and makes fun of anyone and everyone, and it makes these characters of food, especially at the end. At the end, I don't want to give it too much away, but I will. So if you haven't seen it, you may want to pause it now. But spoiler alert, there's a giant food orgy at the end of the movie of all the characters and just the way the food sound and what they do to have an orgy. It's crazy, and it takes a twisted mind to sit down and describe how a banana would have sex with an orange or some shit. And it's a crazy movie. You should definitely watch it. If you like raunchy, crude Seth Rogen movies, you will definitely like this one. So for my 2016 movie of the year, not Star Wars, but Sausage Party.
Well, surprisingly, mine wasn't Star Wars either, even though I love them both incredibly much. But I think that when I looked at the list of the movies that came out this year,
I think isn't Star Wars 2015?
No. Oh, maybe.
I think it was.
Yeah, but there's a new one that came out last week, man.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. I think the other one was 2015 anyway.
Oh, that's true. But what I was gonna get at is when I looked at the whole list of movies, that movie just jumped at me as something that I was like, oh, I was so glad I saw that, and I can wait for 32 sequels. I also can wait for them to turn it into a good TV show.
Oh, boo!
No, come on.
Boo! All right, so we got about 5 minutes left in our show today. Do you want to give any hints about your top 5?
Yeah, I would say this. My top 5 has a lot of 80s movies, and but it's when I feel a little bit more artsy about it. Even though that's not why I love some of these movies. Because my top movie is like super like every film student in the world has seen this.
Yeah, I have one movie like that on my list.
And it's not Citizen Kane, but it's a movie that I absolutely entirely fucking love, and I can't wait to get to it.
Yeah, I have one movie it's an epic film. It's my only epic film on my list. Was a right in our backyard type of movie. I have another movie that was a great 90s movie that's also quoted often. I have an 80s comedy that I love. I have a Will Ferrell movie. You'll have to see which one when you get back. And one with in my opinion, the greatest American actor there is.
Charlton Heston.
But I am the only one with this opinion. I don't even think the actor himself feels this way.
It's a Clint Eastwood.
It's not.
But then it's not the greatest actor.
I have mentioned him on the show before.
Oh, well.
So if you go back and listen to our archive, maybe you can figure it out.
Our archival for sure.
Maybe.
Well, yeah, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. Two friends in a movie with Sixto and Matt.
With Matt and Sixto. I mean, that just sounds a lot better. I'm just telling you.
I'm just telling you, Sixto first is such a strong name.
It's not. People are like, who? What was that? We went over this. They're going to think it's a Spanish show and they're going to turn off.
Anyways.
They're like, I don't speak Spanish. I can't listen to this.
Whatever. Have a very happy New Year.
What is this going to be? What was that movie? The Alamo? People want to hear that shit.
Oh, great.
They want to hear a real Long Islander talk about dogma.
Yeah, that's exactly what people want.
That's what they want. The research has been done.
Yeah, by whom?
By me.
Exactly. No, man. Have a very wonderful 2016 fucking sucked, dude. We had a horrible president-elect. We had massive amount of people, famous people that passed away that had an effect on everybody. I think that 2016 also took away some close people in our lives and shit like that. And I think that he has to fucking go. I'm ready for 2017 to be good.
The best part of 2017 is going to be a bi-weekly dosage of Two Friends in a Movie with Matt and Sixto
Right.
for at least January.
And
then we'll see how it goes after that.
Yeah, man.
But thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed part 1 of our top 10 movies of all time. Come back in a week or so. We're going to do part 2. We'll get our top 5 movies of all time. We'll make fun of Sixto and his hypocrisy.
I make fun of your fucking movie picks.
Yeah, my movie picks are the bomb, son.
Don't say bomb, man.
The bomb.
What?
Yo, I told you about the man already. He don't bother me. So to end on a happy note.
Yes.
I love you. You love me.
We're a happy family.
Let's get a sewing kit out.
Okay.
And have some fun.
All right, man.
Good night.
Good night.